Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, guys, we are still going through the grade 12 mathematical literacy paper 1 that was written in June 2022. And in this video tutorial, guys, we are going to be tackling question 2.1. And question 2.1 is basically a question that deals with financial documents, right? So we're going to be looking at a financial document that is given to us here, right? It's a tax invoice, and we're going to be answering questions based on our analysis of this financial document. Okay, before you get started with the video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you check out my description box, because I'll put a link to this past paper there. So download the paper, go through the questions on your own, try the questions on your own, and once you've done that, play the video tutorials and follow with me. Right, before you get started with the video tutorial, guys, also please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you've clicked on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video tutorial, guys. And also don't forget to give this video tutorial a huge thumbs up, because that really helps the channel grow, and it helps the channel to reach more learners that want to better their mathematics marks, right? And if you also want to support the channel and show your appreciation for the content that I am creating for you guys here, please also click on that thanks button, right? So click on that thanks button, look at the different options that there, and that's also another way that you can support the channel. And also don't forget to just comment and tell me how, right? And tell me how you basically found the video tutorial. So please, guys, make sure that you watch this entire video tutorial. This one is going to be slightly longer, so please make sure that you follow with me carefully and you focus and you analyze everything with me properly. Okay, so without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. So like I mentioned, guys, in question 2.1, this is basically a tax invoice that we've been given. It's a financial document that we've been given to analyze. So we're going to be asking questions based on this tax invoice, right? So let us have a look. Question 2.1. Bongiwe received her levy statement of account from Rango Property Specialists for her rented unit, right? So Bongiwe basically rents a unit with Rango Property Specialists, right? And they have basically given her a levy statement of her account, right? We are told that Annexure A shows her adapted statement of accounts, right? And we are told to use the Annexure A to answer the questions that follow, right? So I've basically extracted Annexure A and I've put it here. So I hope everything is nice and clear for you guys and you see everything that is going on here, okay? Right, so that is basically our Annexure A. All right, so let's just have a look at what is going on here. We are told that this levy statement or your tax invoice was basically issued by your Rango Property Specialist, right? It was issued to Mrs. Bongiwe Dlamini, and she stays at 16 Blueberry Gardens, 48 Foreign Road in Glens Neck. Okay, this is her unit number 16, right? This is basically the reference number that they have given Mrs. Bongiwe Dlamini to use every time she makes her payments, right, for her rent and all the things like that. She needs to use this reference number so that they know that it's actually Mrs. Bongiwe that is making the payment, right? The amount that is due on her, obviously her account is 2,340.73 cents, okay? Then we are also given just like details here of all the transactions in this invoice. The balance brought forward, right, was 894 Rand and 55 cents, right? And then there was a standard levy that was basically billed in her account of 1,498.63 cents, right? And once that was added, right, we saw that the balance basically increased from 894 to 2,393.18 cents, right? Then they added the insurance, right, which was 5 rand and 59 cents. And then we can see also the balance increased there. Then they added the domestic effluent, right? That was 510 rand and 55 cents. The balance increased. They added the levy CSOS, right? And that was 30 rand and 90 cents. We can see that the balance also increased. They added the maintenance plan of 265 rand and 29 cents. We can see that the balance increased. And then we can see that Mrs. Bongiwe Dlamini made a payment. How do we know that she made a payment? Because we see that she used that reference number of BGD0016. And she made a payment of 3,000 rand to 3,206 rand, right? So how much was the balance that was left in her account? So this was the balance that was brought forward on the 1st of June. She paid 3,206 on the 1st of June, right? This is how much was in the account. She paid that amount. What was the balance left after she made that account? We need to figure that out. And then they added again the standard levy in July. They started again of 1,498.63. So we can see that, okay, the standard levy is basically added every month. Then they added a meter reading fee for electricity of 15 rand and 13 cents. The insurance again, they added it for 5 rand and 59 cents. The domestic effluent, they added it again of 510.55. The meter reading again, right, for water of 15 rand and 13 cents. Then they added the levy CSOS again of 30.90 for the month of July this time. And then they also added the maintenance plan for the month of July of 265.29, right? And then this was basically the amount that was due for July. So we can see this is basically a tax invoice for both June, shows the transactions that happened for June as well as July. Then they give the banking details that Mrs. Bongiwe Dlamini needs to basically use to make her payments. The Rango Properties specifically say that they do not want any cash payment. So Mrs. Dlamini can't basically pay for her account using cash. She needs to basically either make issue out a check, make an electronic payment, like an EFT and something like that, right? So she cannot pay using like cash. Okay, so we've basically, I think we've done a quick analysis, and the reason why I've basically went so quickly is because I expect that you guys have gone through the financial documents lessons that I've created for you guys. Please have a look at those lessons that I've done for you guys. They're really gonna help you when you guys are analyzing these type of financial documents. They will give you a better understanding of how you should analyze them. Okay, so let's look at the questions that are given to us. Now, so the first one, question 2.1.1, write down the reference number that Ubongiwe must use when she pays her accounts. Now, so like I mentioned, we were given the reference number here that Mrs. Bongiwe Dlamini needs to use when she basically makes her payment. There we go. That is the reference number, and the reference number that she needs to use is BGD 0016, right? So let us write that down. Give one reason why reference numbers are used when making payments. Why do people use reference numbers when they're making payments? Guys, let's think about this now for a second. When you are making a payment, let's say you are a student at WITS, and you've basically now obviously made a payment towards your account, and there's no reference number that has been assigned to you or that you basically use when making your payment. How will the institution know that it's Lutando that made a payment or that it's Nicole that made a payment? They won't know. That is why in most institutions, they say that you must either use your student number or your ID number as a reference so that they will know that this particular student basically made a payment. So that is basically why reference numbers are used when making payments, so that the person or whoever you are paying knows who is making the payment. Because if then there was no reference number, that person wouldn't know who made the payment. Okay. So you'll find in most cases where you don't have to use a reference number, most times they'll ask you to basically show proof of payment. You will now have to give proof of payment, and it becomes a long process. Whereas we could have just minimized the admin by just giving people our reference numbers to use. Then we know who paid and who didn't pay. Okay, so that is basically the reason why reference numbers are used, to identify which client has made payments to their accounts. Right? Question 2.1.3, okay? And before you continue with the questions, guys, please make sure that you've clicked on that like button if you are enjoying the video tutorial, okay? Let's continue. Question 2.1.3, calculate the missing value A, which has been omitted from the statement, okay? So omitted, right? So this value here has been obviously omitted or left out, right? That's what omitted means, is that they haven't basically given us the figure there. So we need to calculate what that figure there is. How do we calculate that figure, right? So if you basically take 3,000, so the balance before they basically made, or Mrs. Bongiwe made the payment, what was the balance before she made that payment? The balance before she made the payment was 3,205.51 cents, right? Okay, and then what did she do? She made a payment of 3,206 Rand. What is that missing value A? So we're gonna write it as like an equation, okay? So please focus, please have a look here, right? 2.1.3. Now we see that, okay, before the payment she had how much? She had 3,205.51. Yeah? And then she made a payment, so minus, right? How much did she pay? She paid 3,206. Okay, what is A? You see, so you basically work with the values that have been given to calculate and you use that to basically write out an equation. And then from there, it becomes super easy. You're going to take these values, punch them into your calculator to find out what that A is, right? So 3,205.51 cents minus 3,206 Rand. How much do you get? You get negative 0.46 cents, right? So that is our missing value A. Okay, I'm going to write that here. Negative 0.46. Right. Next question. Question 2.1.4. The total amount due for this invoice is 2,340 Rand and 73 cents, including 15% VAT. Calculate the total amount due excluding VAT, right? So guys, please note when we analyzing financial documents, I think I mentioned this in my lessons that I was doing. You guys are always calculating VAT. So you need to now get into the habit of obviously understanding how you calculate your VAT, right? Especially when it comes to this question here, right? When you have to calculate the amount due for this, we are told that the amount including VAT, right? Okay, let me highlight that. This 2,340 Rand and 73 cents, right, is including 15% VAT, right? But they ask us to calculate the total amount due excluding the VAT. Okay, so this question is also important. I'll also put a link to a similar video tutorial that you guys can look at where we are basically calculating VAT, and you need to understand this method, right? So let's just have a look at this. So question 2.1.4, okay? Question 2.1.4. We are told that the amount including VAT, right? So the amount including your 15% VAT, right, is equal to 2,340.73 0.73 cents, right? Okay. Then we know that the VAT amount, right? The VAT percentage is equal to 15%. And we basically want to calculate what? The amount excluding the 15% VAT. Okay. So it's very important in this question that we note, what do we want? What do we have? Right? What do we want? What do we have? We want the amount excluding VAT. Please look at this, right? So you always need to remember that the amount that includes the 15% VAT, right, is equal to 115%, because that amount is your, okay, because that amount is basically the 100%, right, plus the 15% VAT, okay? Then what is the VAT amount? Okay, we know that the VAT amount is what? Is 15%, okay? And then what do we want? We want the amount excluding the 15% VAT, right? So how do you get the amount excluding the 15% VAT? You take the 115%, you minus the 15%, and that is equal to what? 100%. So we are basically going to be working with this, right, to help us calculate what the amount excluding VAT is going to be, right? So I'm going to rewrite this on the next page, right? So I've basically rewritten that here, right, where your amount including VAT, guys, it's your 100% plus the 15%, which is 115%. The VAT amount is what? Is 15%. And the amount excluding your 15% VAT is your 115% minus your 15%, which is 100, right? So we're going to work with this to help us calculate the amount excluding VAT, right? We need to ask ourselves, what are we given? What do we want? What are we given here? Okay, so we are given the amount including VAT, okay? So the amount including VAT is equal to 2,340.73 cents, right? That is what you're given. What do you want, right? So what do you want? You want the amount excluding VAT, right? So if you want the amount excluding VAT, you need to multiply by what? What you want, okay? You multiply by what you want. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by 100%, okay, and you divide it by what you have. So what do we already have? We've got the amount including the 15% VAT, and that amount is how much? It's 115%, okay? So you divide it by 115%, right? I'm going to write that here. So it's what you want divided by what you have. Okay, what do we want? We want the amount excluding VAT, and that is 100%. What do you have? You have the amount including VAT, which is 115%, right? So if you literally punch these values into your calculator like this, right, you will get that the amount excluding VAT, right? Okay, so the amount excluding VAT is equal to, okay, 2,035 Rand and 42 cents, right? So that is basically our final answer, right? Okay, so important with this question, guys, you really need to remember the amount including VAT, right, is always your 100% plus the percentage of VAT that is given, right? The VAT amount is whatever the percentage of VAT is, and in this case it's 15%, right? And the amount excluding VAT, right, is always your 100% minus the percentage of VAT, and in this case it's 15%, and we got that as 100. So I'd also watch this video tutorial so that you understand this method, because it's very important, right? So the final answer is 2,035 Rand and 42 cents. Okay, question 2.1.5, right? Calculate rounded to 2 decimal places, guys. They tell us that we need to round to 2 decimal places. Né? The standard levy fee for June 2022 as a percentage of the total amounts due on the statement. I love these questions because they tell you exactly what you need to do. Now, we want the standard levy fee for June 2021 as what? A percentage of the amount due on the statement. So literally, this is telling you what you need to do. We start off by looking at what is the standard levy fee for June 2021. Okay, so we go to our tax invoice now, and we basically look for your June 2021. What was the standard levy fee? So we see for June 2021, okay, so the standard levy fee for June 2021 was equal to 1,498.63 cents. So we're going to write that down. Okay, it's 1,498.63 cents. Now, what else are we told to do here, right? We want the standard levy fee for June as a percentage of the amount due on the statement. What is the amount due on the statement? Okay, so we go to the statement. Okay, what is the amount that is due? Okay, the amount that is due on the statement is 2,340.73 cents, right? So we're gonna write that down. 2,340.73, right? So this question asks us to basically get the percentage of the standard levy fee, right? So it's that 1,498.63 as a percentage of the total amount due on the statement. So this question is telling us exactly what we need to do, right? Standard levy fee divided by the amount that is due, and you multiply it by 100 because you want the percentage, right? So if you punch that into your calculator, guys, what do you get? Okay, you will get the percentage as 64.02404378%. But then what was the question saying? The question specifically asked us to basically round off the final answer, right, to the nearest, or round it off to 2 decimal places, right? So we need to round this answer off to 2 decimal places. So to round it off to 2 decimal places, what do we look at? We look at the third digit after the comma. So the third digit after the comma, right, tells us what we need to do, right? So the third digit is 4. So this number is below 5. That means that the number here basically stays the same. But if this third digit was either 5 or a number that was above 5, right, then we were going to basically change this 2 into a 3. But because this number is 4, or a number that is below 5, we basically keep that number 2. So our final answer therefore is equal to 64.02%. So that is the percentage. Okay, so please note you'll get basically a mark for showing your number before rounding it off, and you're also showing how you basically rounded it off, and also another mark for your calculations here. Okay, and that is basically how you get the 4 there. Okay, so question 2.1.6, write down a possible payment option Rango property specialists will accept. So remember, when we looked at our tax invoice here at the bottom, okay, they basically told us that they do not accept any cash payments. Né? So any other payments would be acceptable, but your cash payments, right? So here it's up to you how you would want to answer this question, right? So what other way could Mrs. Lamini then pay the Rango property specialist, right? So she could also maybe make a check payment, right? Or you can say that she can make bank deposits, or she can make like an EFT on her online banking, and so on and so forth, right? So you will just get your 2 marks for either saying maybe check payments, or if you say bank deposits, you'll just get 2 marks for whichever one that you would have chosen. Right. Okay, let's go to question 2.1.7. Blueberry Gardens have 49 units in total. Okay, calculate the total amount collected by the body corporate if all 49 units paid their levy COS on the 1st of July 2021, right? So if we go and have a look at our tax invoice now, on the 1st of July 2021, right, what was the amount for the levy CSOS, right? It was 30 Rand and 90 cents, right? So every single person, right, that rents with your Rango property, right, basically pays that levy CSOS amount of 30 Rand and 90 cents, right? We are told that there are 49 units. So 49 people pay that 30 Rand and 90 cents. So how much would then Rango property specialists get if all of those people paid their levy CSOS, right? So what do we do, guys, here? Nice and simple. We basically say we are told that everyone pays 30 Rand and 90 cents for their levy CSOS, right? On the 1st of June. And we are told that there are 49 units, right? So how much then would the Blueberry Gardens then get from the people that paid their CSOS, right? So if you punch that into your calculator, you will see that they would have gotten or received 1,514 Rand and 10 cents. Okay, so you get a mark for obviously taking the 49, the 30.90 Rand, multiplying it by 49 and giving your final answer, which gives you your 3 marks there. Right, let's go on to the next question. Question 2.1.8. Right, so they tell us the Blueberry Gardens body corporate increased, they increased the standard levy by 6.45% from the 1st of August 2021. Calculate the new standard levy after the increase, right? So before we can even calculate what the new standard levy is, right, we basically need to find out what was the standard levy before the increase. Yeah? So you will see here in your tax invoice, guys, that the standard levy basically remains the same. Yeah? Let me show you guys. On June, the standard levy was 1,498.63 cents. Let me just move this a bit down. Okay. It was, so in the 1st of June 2021, the standard levy was 1,498 Rand and 63 cents. Then you see, okay, in July, the standard levy was still 1,498.63 cents. Now we want to find out what would be the standard levy for August if this amount increased by 6.45%. So how do you answer this question? Okay, question 2.1.8. So the standard levy is currently equal to 1,498 Rand and 63 cents. Okay, so we want to find out what the percentage increase would be if we are told that it increased by 6.45%, right? So first thing is, what is 6.45% of 1,498.63? How much are we increasing by, right? So we know that if we're saying 6.45% of 1,498.63 cents, we know that we're going to just take the 6.45% and you need to multiply it by 1,498.63 cents, right? So if you do that and you punch this value into your calculator, you will see that that's 6.45% of 1498.63 is actually equal to 96.66. So this is basically that 6.45%. Yeah? So if the amount before was 1498.63 and you add that 6.45% increase of 96 Rand and 66, what would be the new your new standard levy for your 1st of August 2021? All right. So if you punch these values into your calculator, the new standard levy is equal to 1595.29. Okay, and this is basically the standard levy for. Okay, so what is important in this question was understanding if it increased by a certain percent, right, of a number that was given, we need to write that down as an equation, right? What I've realized about mathematics literacy, if you basically figure out the equations that you need to work with, it becomes super easy from there, right? So if we want to find out what 6.45% of 1498.63, we just take that and you multiply by 1498.63 to get what that 6.45% is, and then we take that 6.45, this 96.66 is basically 6.45% of the 1498.63, right? So you need to add that to get what the new amount or the increase is going to be for August 2021, right? So that is basically it for the video tutorial. I hope it was super informative. I hope you guys enjoyed it, right? We went all the way from 2.1.1 all and to 2.1.8, and I explained everything. I think what was very important here was calculating question 2.9.4, calculating your VAT. If they tell you what is the amount including and they tell you the amount excluding, what do you want and what do you have, the questions that you need to ask, right? Also here where we also have to calculate the percentage, right? Please work with the information that is given to you guys, right? What if you want a percentage of something, they tell you what to put in your numerator. And what you're putting in your numerator is the standard levy for June 2021, right? And that is basically what we did. They also tell you what to put in your denominator, right? And what you put in the denominator is the amount due on the statement, right? And you put the amount due on the statement in our denominator and you multiply it by 100 because you want the percentage, and you got the answer. Here, what's important was they want us to round off the final answer. Show what the answer is before rounding it off, right? Show that, because you get a mark for showing what the answer was before, and then you get an additional mark for obviously showing that you rounded it off to 2 decimal places, right? And then the rest, guys, was just us analyzing the invoice, right? And just thinking, if there's 49 units and all those units pay a particular amount, how much would then the body corporate receive? So that's when we knew that we needed to basically multiply the 30.90 by 49, right, to get how much they receive. And then lastly here, question 2.1.8, if you want to find out what the percentage increase is of something, what was that something, right? To increase from the standard levy by 6.45, right? And then we found out what 6.45% of the 1498.63 is. And then you find that that is 96.66, and then we added that 96.66 to the original standard levy amount to get what the increase is going to be. Okay, and that is it for today's video tutorial, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys also click on that like button if you really enjoyed the video tutorial. And I'll see you guys on my next video tutorial. In the next video tutorial, guys, we are going through question 2.2. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.